Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Cheer the Duck Up. Hope you're well. I am Tom Stockdale and I'm here with my co-host David Page.
Hello.
So, welcome, brand new podcast. Very excited, very, very happy about this.
That's why it was such a dynamic introduction by myself. Hello. it's not what you say, it's what you don't say. That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We leave it to the imagination. So, just quickly, in a nutshell, the goal of this podcast is for us to cheer each other up.
Yes,
and hopefully, by proxy, cheer you up too.
That's the point of it. Two mates cheering each other up in a world gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
While the world is on fire and you're doom scrolling through social media and you're at a job you hate and you're dealing with all this nonsense everybody is dealing with, we will be your distraction for around an hour a week, maybe even longer if you're feeling lucky. We'll distract you, can be an escape, we'll cheer you up, and we'll share our embarrassing and funny and wholesome and lesson learning, paradigm shifting stories with you.
Sounds good. Did you write that down beforehand?
No, that just rolled out, didn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we're going to go on a journey. We're not just going to be sitting here waffling at each other.
Oh yeah.
We're going to try a few things out, aren't we? We're going to actually partake in the actual world out there, aren't we?
Yeah, and mate, we've already booked in, right? We have booked in for our first thing this Thursday. So the goal of these things that we're going to be trying, which will be on the YouTube channel too, and then obviously we will talk about them here as well. So you'll never escape us, no matter where you choose to follow us. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that noise. There's a link tree on all the social medias taking you to all the other ones if you would like to follow, and if you do enjoy what you hear. So the first thing that we've booked in is we are going to be learning a dance routine.
Yes. The reason we're learning a dance routine is not for some sort of wacky intro to the show. It's because we don't want to do a dance routine.
Yeah.
And the point is, if we do something we not just do something we don't want to do. Let's push ourselves out of our comfort zone, okay? Because this is something that we've discovered over our journey together,
yeah,
right, as friends before we started this podcast. Like, when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone, we seem to... You learn more about yourself. You can achieve something you might not have thought you could achieve. And there's so many opportunities to do it out there. There's so many things you could do in your life that you could try and see if you like it. And you'll never know if you don't get out there and give it a go. So we've got a few things lined up. The first one, though, we're going to be learning some dancing.
I'm not looking forward to it. No. I've got no coordination. Like, I've got a bit of rhythm, and we both do because we're both musicians, right? I play the guitar and David plays the bass. So we know we've got the rhythm there, but when it comes to actually coordinating myself in dance, like any kind of thing like that, I've got 3 left feet, mate. It's.
I think the thing is, it's like if we can go there, right, with a straight face, take part in this situation, give it everything we got. Let's find out what we can get back from it, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to know. Will it cheer us up? That's the question.
I'm sure it will, because we can laugh at each other's pain.
Yeah, it will cheer the people who are watching the videos up, I'm quite sure.
They can laugh at our pain, but like, I cannot stress how much I don't want to do this. But that's the whole point. Every time you get out of your comfort zone and you push yourself, it helps break out of any weird funk that you're in. So we've done it with we've done jiu-jitsu together.
We have.
Which David broke my ribs, but we won't talk about that.
Oh my god, dude! I'm so sorry. That was purely accidental.
It wasn't our fault. Right? Like, let's just leave it at that.
Well, that was not a normal jiu-jitsu scenario that we got. When we came back from there, okay, and we learned some new skills, and we got some adrenaline going, and we got some dopamine going from that physical exertion and stuff. We realised that we were onto something very positive and useful. I mean, when we were trying that was later towards the end of last year, and things were really looking quite miserable.
Yeah.
All round, weren't they? Everyone's worrying, everyone's stressed. It's not like it's not with good reason. There's clearly, strange things going on in the world, aren't there?
It's really easy to get swept up in the rapids of misery, though, right?
Yeah. Oh,
like with all of this stuff being thrown at you, it's on the media every day, rolling death count and all this weird, horrible stuff. It's really easy to get caught up in this continuous noise, and you have to sometimes, I do anyway, I have to make a conscious effort to break away and be happy, right?
Yeah.
So to cheer the duck up, right? To go and focus on something that isn't the fact the world is on fire, and learning a new skill and pushing yourself through, like, how stupid everybody feels stupid when you try something new, but there is not one person ever who's walked into something new and knew what to do, or else it wouldn't be new to them.
Well, exactly. I mean, the thing about some of these things we're doing, if you're in the local area, these are classes you can actually attend yourself if you want to go to, and this is the thing, if you've got that 8 o'clock Wednesday, I'm going to this class, or whatever time it may be.
There's
That's
something
a
to
good
look forward to.
Exactly. That's a good thing about having that class booked in every week. It's like, okay, I'm going to go in there and break through this discomfort of not wanting to dance. And we don't have to wear lycra or anything, do we?
No, but I'm
What do
going
we
to
have to
anyway.
wear? Oh, okay.
Nah, the woman that's going to be teaching us as well, she used to be my daughter's dance teacher.
Oh, right, okay.
She's called Kat. She's from North Wales, where we are. If you're from anywhere near us, then you definitely know who Kat is. She's a huge personality. She's got a lot of energy to her and absolutely zero shame.
Oh, excellent.
She doesn't feel embarrassed. She lives outside of a comfort zone. Everywhere's her comfort zone.
Oh, sounds good.
Which is good. It's fantastic, and I'm sure she'll put us through our paces. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, mate. I'm not looking forward to it. But I'm sure that we'll get it done, and whether we feel like dicks after or we feel better for it, either way,
We're gonna do it together.
Mhm.
Like, that's one thing,
Yeah.
right? It's like, whatever does happen, at least we'll be there together, mate, and we can talk about it and laugh about it afterwards. Well, maybe laugh about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can pull a hamstring or something, like something really bad. What's the worst that can happen, right?
Well, we're fine to do MMA, right?
Oh my God.
And we're fine to do.
We've had broken ribs already.
We've done boxing training. We've done kickboxing. We've done jiu-jitsu. But if where we really injure ourselves is learning this like 2-minute dance routine, I'm not even sure it's 2 minutes. That would take a long time to learn, I guess. But
oh my God, can you imagine teaching an absolute retard like me 2 minutes worth? Like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, nah.
No, by the time they finish the first part, I will have like forgotten the beginning of it, and you know what I mean, dude. Let's not set ourselves 2 minutes. Like,
yeah, no, it's not going to be near that time. It's
2 minutes of her dancing, me clapping in the background. I can dance it. The only way you get me to dance is if I got a bottle of beer in each hand. This was in the olden days when I used to drink. Like, and then you just do a 2-step with 2 bottles in each hand, and you say, oh well, I can't move the top of my body.
Yeah, because
I've got 2 bottles.
I'm holding my drink.
Yeah, so I just yeah.
Right. I don't miss drinking. You know, I quit drinking like officially this year, but like I don't remember really having a drink since it was like January the 6th or the 5th, 2020, before everything all went mental. Because my birthday was on the 7th, and I was with a friend from a YouTube, Callum's Corner, and we had to drive up north to pick up a dog. He got like one of those like Beethoven dogs.
Is this a real story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. So we had to drive up there, and then we drove back, and he booked me an Airbnb, and it was like I was going to stream for the evening.
Okay.
But the Wi-Fi was like McDonald's Wi-Fi shit, like a carrier pigeon speeds. It was just awful. So instead of sitting in an apartment in Bristol like a loser on my own, a couple nights before my birthday, I decided to go out on a night out like a loser on my own. And it was an amazing night out.
In Bristol?
Yeah. It was so nice. Like,
it's a cool town.
Really cool
City.
town. I went into a bar called, I think it was like the Cat and Wheel or something, and went up to the barman. I was like, look, like I'm new in town. I'm only here for one night. I've never been here before. Where's good? Who's sound? I ain't got any mates. What should I do? Where should I go? Is there any live music on? And then he rang the bell, and everybody stopped. He's like, oh, what's your name, lad? I was like, Tom. He's like, this is Tom. Introduced me to the whole bar. And he said, oh, welcome to Bristol. Your first pint is on us. I was like, oh, nice one, sound. And then these groups started to come over. I was like, oh, you can come chill with us if you want, mate. Like, you can come. Like, so I was like, okay. And that is a good example, mate. Well out my comfort zone. I used to be super shy. I've got a stutter. I got bullied. I used to be well shy. And be able to walk into a building and be like, what? I'm here. You're welcome.
This how come you're qualified, like, to advise people on how to cheer up. This is how you cheer me up, right? It's like you have actually done it and pushed yourself out of their comfort zone. I've got a friend who lives in Bristol. It's an amazing place, and they're very friendly people down there. So what happened next then?
Right. So
was it like, did it end in a pile of limbs and boobs and no clothes on and drugs?
Not quite. Drugs, yes, but not quite the rest of it. So I went over. I got invited over to a table where these people they were playing pool and stuff. So I said, I'll buy the winner a drink. And I'm like, yeah, what's the catch? Do you get next game? I was like, no, I'm just incentive. I don't want anything back. Whoever wins this game, I will buy your next drink. So they're like, okay. So then I did. There was no catch. I said I was going to do it, and I bought my drink. One of them was like, do you smoke weed? I was like, I do enjoy a smoke. Yeah. He's like, have you got any? I was like, nah. I like, do you want some? I was like, well, like I'm drinking, and you know, like if you drink first and then smoke, you die, right? And it's absolutely horrendous. So I was like, I'm drinking. It's probably best I don't. He said, I've got some. If you want some, I was like, I don't want to buy any, mate. He said, no, I'm giving it to you. I come out to the smoking area. I was like, okay. And he pulled out a backy pouch and just started handing me nugs.
Oh my God.
Right. So I'm putting them in my pocket, my lint-filled pockets, right, with literally nothing in there, and it was stinking proper bad. So I was like, right, I'm probably gonna have to go soon because like I'm kind of turning heads as I'm walking past,
getting
like,
a bit sweaty, thinking, I just want to go home.
Mate, I'm just glowing green at this point. Like it smelled so bad. And then they told me that they were going to go to this Rasta bar and that I should go with them.
Oh my God.
And they were getting an Uber. So I was like, fuck it, I've come this far. I might as well. In hindsight, it could have been dangerous, but it wasn't, and it was a class night. So if I had been scared of it being dangerous, I would have missed out. Like, I wouldn't advise doing this, right? I understand. I got very lucky this whole night just by meeting sound people. But I went to this Rasta bar. Down in the bottom bits, it's like carved out like caves. There's like these little coves. I went and sat in one of those and started having a joint. I was like, can we smoke here? And he's like, of course. Like, I was like, all right, cool. So I'm sat there smoking, and I'm sat at the most ethnically diverse table you've ever seen in your life, right? There's like a Rasta man, an Indian, an American Indian, everyone.
An Eskimo, a Peruvian bow hunter.
Yeah, but it was crazy. It was like
a leprechaun.
Like the, United Nations of stoners, right? So they're all sat there, and they're all talking about like the essence of being in this big, heavy, deep conversation about whether God's real and all this stuff. And I'm sat there and I'm already thinking, all right, I'm not on the wavelength of this. Like, I love talking about that sort of stuff, but I'd had a smoke after drinking, so I felt a bit wavy. So I was like, right, I'm going to go to the toilet. And I went in, and all the walls were covered in graffiti. But it was like style graffiti. It looked good. It didn't look trash. But obviously very disorientating when you're wavy and and you can feel gravity and you're aware of your finite existence hurtling on this rock through infinity.
And you just had somebody put a little flea in your ear about the meaning of existence at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So I sat down on the floor in the cubicle, which is gross, right? And I sat down, I was like, don't be sick, don't be sick. Now I was sick. And then I went back upstairs, and as I walked towards where I was going to sit again, and I was talking to this girl that was really nice as well. Just like really interesting a conversation with her. And then as I walked back over, the Rasta man is giving it this with his hands, right? A gesture and like massive and being really expressive with his hands. And he was saying that we're all gods and we're all one consciousness that is all experiencing ourselves subjectively. And it all comes back to carbon, and we are the essence of carbon, which is the essence of life and all of this stuff. It was the light and the ambience and the fact he was waving his doob around in the little like smouldering bits. But mate, I saw this vision he was painting for me, and I immediately knew I had to take a left and duck out. If I sat back in there, mate, I would have whiteyed it. Like I was like, I need to go left. I left about 1 a.m. I woke up on a park bench at 4:20 in the morning with my phone next to me and a bottle of water next to me. So some nice person had just dropped me off a bottle of water. I do not remember from 1 till 4:20. Right, so then I was like, right, I need to get an Uber. I checked my phone on 4%. Just as I hit book, and my phone died. So I'm walking around this park, waiting for this Uber to turn up. He's driving me home. I tell him I'm going to be sick. He stops the car, jump out, I'm sick. And I tell him, like, yeah, go on, mate. Like, I don't expect you to let me back in the car after this. And then he said to me, I'm not going to leave you like this. Like, what kind of person would I be, right? So he said, right, I wait there. And he went into a kebab shop, and he bought me some chips and a bottle of water, and he sat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he sat on the side of the street with me, rubbing my back and telling me to eat some food and drink some water. And so then I felt better. We were there for a while. It took a while to kind of find my equilibrium again. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up taking me all the way home. So then that night was amazing. The next day was awful because I had to drive home at like 10 o'clock. So I had like 3-4 hours sleep, and then had to drive from Bristol to North Wales, which was... it was a horrible hot day as well. And then
that's rough.
Had my girlfriend calling me, talking about she's popping pimples on like the kids or something like that.
Oh my God.
While I'm eating a breakfast wrap from Subway with like a poached egg in it. I'm like, stop. It was an absolute nightmare. But like that night was incredible. And I got very, very lucky, and I was in a control of myself. But I've got way more stories of where I've been drinking and I've made a cunt of myself, you know.
Oh yeah.
I've like really embarrassed myself. So like the reason I decided to stop drinking, because I feel it just reduces me. It makes me think in a way I don't normally think, act in a way I wouldn't normally act. I say things that I don't necessarily mean. I might mean a bit, but it doesn't need saying. It's just drama. It's expensive. You wake up feeling hungover, which is disgusting and minging. And I wouldn't get preachy. I wouldn't say like everyone should stop drinking. It should be illegal.
Every single person who's listening to this knows what you're on about, unless you haven't had a drink in your life.
Yeah. How many times have people said, I'm never drinking again?
Yeah. As you know, I don't drink myself as well, but like the problem with not drinking is it's like it's a bit like giving anything up. You know, we were talking about social media earlier before the podcast. It was a great conversation. You would have loved it. But anyway, never mind that. No, I mean, the thing is, if you're going to give something up, everything in life has balance. And drinking's no different. It's like, there's a really, really positive, awesome, good side to drinking, but it's just whether you want to put up with the negative side that goes with it or not. It takes people years to come to that conclusion that actually, it takes years of experience and years of making mistakes before you actually come to a conclusion on it. A lot of people just go, do you know what, it's worth it. I get a lot out of it. I'll suffer the hangover. I'll suffer the embarrassing behaviour and stuff. For myself, I mean, as we're going deep, it's only episode 1. Here we go, therapy time. But I mean, it does mean a lot to me because drinking was very important to me. But it was when I had my 3rd child that I realised, okay, there's no room in my life for drinking anymore. Like I can't wake up in the morning and not be ready to go. Not when you got 3 kids.
Yeah.
It's bad enough. I thought I could probably get away with it for 2, but I wasn't really getting away with it then either. You know what I mean? I was slacking. I was not performing to my best. And I think that if you want to try and stay positive and you want to try and improve yourself, that's the way to cheer up. Is that we found at least is to try and achieve the best that you can, be the best version of yourself that you can be. Right. The meaning of life. Here we go. Really going deep now. The meaning of life is not just happiness. No. It's not just being happy. You might get happy slamming your dick in a car door and do it all day long until somebody pulls you away from it. Right. Is that a great way to spend your time? It makes me happy. You might just take loads of drugs and stare at the wall all day long and say, well, hey, at least I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think having responsibilities where happiness comes from, living up to your responsibilities and stuff. And I wasn't doing that. And not to the optimal way that I could have been. So, but then you lose it's like football season at the moment, and there's tournaments going on, and everyone's going to the pub to watch these matches, or you're going to sit with your mates and have a few beers and watch the match. You have to lose all that too.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
What I found and find kind of frustrating is like I've been asked out for a drink a couple of times, right? And I say, nah, like I don't drink anymore, mate. Oh, come on. It's like, could you just respect what I've said? Right, like
enablers.
I'll still come out. You can still drink. I'm not going to be a preachy cunt. I'm not going to be boring, right? I will sneak out the pub and I'll have a pin around the corner. So I'll be lightly toasted. We'll both be in different states of consciousness.
Oh my god, a drunk dude and a stone dude talking. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it? So have you ever thought about like the meaning of life and like maybe, I mean, we are just carbon, aren't we? If you think about it, like, I'm going to text my ex. Like, oh, shut up.
It's absolutely dreadful. But it is. I get it. It's coming from a good place, right? Like they're not trying to upset you, and they're not trying to belittle you or disrespect your opinion. I understand it's not that deep. Even at the first time, I was like, no, I don't drink anymore. So, come on, one more drink, or don't be boring. It's like, no, I'll still come. I'll come to the match if something's happening, or I'll come to the party, but I just won't drink. I was like, oh, well, it's not going to be the same then, is it? So what difference does it make? I have got so much in my life that I cannot let a version of me destroy and throw away. A drunk me likes getting sober me in moral debt, right? Like, I think that's the best way I can possibly put it. Drunk me gets sober me into moral debt.
I get it.
And when I'm sober, I have to work back to pay back that debt. Now, it's nothing huge, but I might be a bit more of a cunt than normal, right? So say like... no,
you definitely will. If you're getting drunk, you're going to...
Yeah, so...
you're not going to become like more charming and debonair, are you? You're not going to become more suave. You might think you are.
Yeah, but you're not. You're not. That's not the way it's turned out at all. And there's been times when, say, like I've given a doorman shit, or someone has kind of snapped at me and I've risen to it and I've snapped back. I would never do that when I'm sober, because I think if they're having a go at me, right, say for the doorman one, right, even if he's being a dick, I think the guy's doing his job. He deals with drunk people and dickheads all day, trying to blag him and trying to take the piss and trying to fight him. So I'm not going to give him a hard time. Right, I'll just say, okay, my bad. I'll raise my hands. I'll apologize. I'll leave. I'll do what he says. And when I'm drunk, so why do you think you talk to me like that? Why is he being a wanker to me? Like I'm the center of the fucking universe. And it's the same if somebody gave me a hard time normally. Say I was walking down the street, I would think like that guy's going through some shit, and I'd probably talk to him like, "Are you okay, bro? Like, there's no way that you can be this upset at me. You've only just seen me. What is it? I need a hug." How can I help you? What's the matter, bro? If I was drunk, but fucking coming on you cunt, blah, blah, blah. Let's go punch each other where our brains are. So one of us might have to spend the rest of our life in a cage, and one of us might die.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, God, you go on and on and on about the perils of alcohol. It's like 50% of murder victims, or people who are involved in a murder case are drunk, either the person murdering somebody or the person getting murdered. So they say, you know, or the amount of people that turn up at A&E who are linked to alcohol-related injuries and stuff. Yeah, it goes on and on. It's clearly very, very bad for us. I think one of the things that helped me understand alcohol was when I started to consider what it actually is doing to you when you're consuming it. So it's poison. Obviously, if you drink too much, boom, you're dead. Like, we'll kind of know that, but we just go, nah. Like, I mean, I don't know anybody growing up in Coventry who didn't have their stomach pumped at one point, right? I mean, I know a friend of my wife's, like, her daughter was, like, found unconscious at a party, and like she had to rush to hospital and had her stomach pumped, and they're like, well, yeah, if she hadn't been found in time, she would have just died. And you know, all these little, you go, oh well, it doesn't stop you drinking. It's so socially acceptable, but the more you drink, basically, the more poisoned you are. So the more your brain's telling your body to start shutting down functions. It's like, we can't do all of this. Like, okay, something's got to go.
We just need what we need, heart and brain. The rest of it can fuck off.
Exactly. Like, yeah. Well, if you keep going, you end up with, like, getting home, unlocking the door, getting into bed, and everything else you don't remember. It's because it's all been, you know, your mind and your body can't deal with it all. So you start to lose your social boundaries. You start to lose your sense of what's funny, what's not.
Yeah.
Like your sense of volume, you know, whether it's a good idea to get into a fight with somebody because they insulted you or not. All of those things. This is why it happens to you. It's because you're poisoning yourself and you're shutting your body down gradually, drink by drink by drink, you know, and the more you have, the worse it gets. And until you end up to the point where you're just a dribbling mess, and you might take it so far that you just pass out unconscious, and that's it. Boom. Okay, sorry. Like, you know, it's really bad. It's like, I caught my neighbour, going into his house with a bottle of whiskey yesterday, and I tell you what, man, as somebody who doesn't drink, do you know what that looks like? As somebody who hasn't had a drink for nearly 5 years, it's like, oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It looks like a weapon. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a big bottle of poison, and it's like, if you drank that, you'd be dead. Like, you know, it's like, it made me feel uneasy just to even be around it. I don't know how to put it, you know.
I know what you mean, and like, obviously, I've already said, we're not saying like everything's bad. You have good times, you have merry times. If you have like, if you drink just the right amount and you get a merry, or you have like a little glass of wine or whatever it is, then that's not the end of the world. But we've all woke up and said, I'm never drinking again.
Yeah, well, you know, if you really want to, if you're feeling like you're struggling with what's going on in the world, if you feel like you're just like we all do, there's lots of ways that you can start chipping away at the things that are bringing you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, some of them
and
are
cheer the duck up.
You got to cheer the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, we're allowed to say fuck now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We call it cheer the duck up, because you can't really call it cheer the fuck up, because I mean, it's like, you know, you can't just say, hey, do you want to hear my?
Listen to cheer the fuck up.
Yeah. It's a little bit Larry, isn't it? So it's a little bit more friendly.
I've messaged people. Telling them to cheer the fuck up, and it's all corrected to duck, so cheer the duck up. Like, we've all been there.
That's just what you need when you're pissed off. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I haven't got a duck. I just told you my girlfriend's left me. Fucking up. What are you about dogs for?
My mallard is in a well good mood, all right, Ken?
Oh, yeah. Go tickle a goose. That's great advice. Fuck off. Twat. Yeah. No, don't do that, people. Some things are easier to break down than others. And for me, alcohol, it's a great one, but you only get to do it once, right? But it's like the low hanging fruit. You could just grab it and get rid of it. Cool. And the difference it makes to you is enormous, right? Yeah. Depending on, not everybody, right? A lot of people, some people, I think younger people don't drink as much as my generation did, just for the record. But like, you can only really do it once, right? So you're losing calories, so you'll start to lose weight. Your skin starts to look better. You know, your mood.
Everything.
Oh yeah, everything. It's not bad for anything. It's good. It's all good to stop drinking alcohol, and you start to get that clearer mind in the morning. You start to get more done. You start to get more energy. But it's like the only downside I can think of to it is that you only get to do it once. You think to yourself, that was such a great thing I did for myself.
Yeah,
you know.
Right. I'm gonna relapse and go back at it again. Like, yeah, it's.
Just for the purpose of feeling that again.
Yeah, just to feel it again. What I find is, it's with anything that you quit, right? That's like your vice or something that you know isn't great for you. Like, for example, I've quit smoking cigarettes. I've transitioned.
Good for you.
To a vape, and each week I've gone down by nicotine. I'm 3 weeks without an actual cigarette now.
Okay.
Which is great. But the scary thing is I realized how much of my smoking was literally just habitual. So I would make the kids tea, I would do the dishes just by default. I made a rollie. And I say, I'm not even smoking anymore. What have I done this for? Like, I've got tobacco still because I do enjoy a doobie, and I can't afford to smoke pure, mate. I'm not made of fucking money. So then I've realized, okay, I've made a rollie, and then I come to pick my girlfriend up from work, and I pull up outside. I get out the car and I'm trying to find the tobacco to have a rollie before she gets in the car. And I'm like, wow, all of these times when I don't even feel like I need a cigarette, but my body's just doing it for me because it's worked into the habit. That was scary.
For sure. And how does it make you feel now that you've gone 3 weeks, you say, yeah?
3 weeks.
What's the effect it's had on you? Like, do you feel, I mean, obviously you've got physical and mental aspects to it. How are you feeling?
So almost immediately my smell and taste got so sensitive.
And then you got COVID, which was a bit of a piss take.
Now I can't smell nothing.
Fate, you cruel mistress.
Yeah, no, I didn't get COVID. It's all good and healthy here. But yeah, my taste and smell shot through the roof, which was crazy. And then I realized like how bad my car smelled because I had an ashtray in there. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Is this what it's been like the whole time and no one's told me? Like, this is gross. And then I put my coat on that I've not worn in ages. Stinks of cigarettes. And I was like, oh my God, this smells terrible on everything all the time. So getting all out of that done, my teeth have got whiter because obviously I've been brushing with whitening toothpaste for ages. But until I stopped smoking cigarettes, that yellow tinge I was trying to get rid of was because of all the shit in the tar. And all
think about
noise.
what you're doing to it, man. You know, just ingesting that, all those particles of like tar and that, just especially swilling around your mouth.
If you put like a napkin or a piece of tissue and then take a toke through it, it's fucking horrifying.
Gross.
And like the main reason that I quit was because my my 8-year-old daughter pure called me out on my shit. So she said even those packets, they have pictures of dead people on, but you're still smoking. Why? Right? And I was like, because I'm silly, darling. And she said, well, that's not really good enough, is it? Stop. Right? 8 years old. So I was like,
they have a way of doing that, don't they, kids?
Just
like, oh, you're so fucking right.
Yeah. Like, oh, don't be right, little fucker.
Shit.
So then, like I said, I'll quit soon. And she said, well, you've said that before. When soon? I was like, I don't know, darling. At some point, I will quit. I'm dealing with other stuff, right? And again, she told me that's not good enough. And then she told me, she laid an ultimatum down at 8 years old. She told me that I have got until her birthday, which is the 17th of August, to quit smoking.
Ooh.
Or when she's old enough, she's going to start smoking. Right? Because she told me that she knows that I obviously don't care about myself enough to quit, but I care about her enough to quit. So if I don't quit smoking by her next birthday, by her 9th birthday, she's going to start as soon as she's old enough.
What is it with females? They're born like it then.
Wisdom.
Yeah, yeah.
The worst thing is part of my ego wanted to overrule as a parent and tell her, you don't do these things to me. But like, she was all the way right. I let them challenge my authority because I don't think people should blindly follow authority. That's how things like the fucking 1930s happen and abuse happens, right? So if they don't understand why I'm telling them to do something, I want them to question me and I want them to understand. I don't want them to do it because I've told them. I want them to understand why they're doing it and
that was your daughter leveling up. That's her reaching a certain sophisticated way of thinking. It's very, very impressive and very to be nurtured at all costs. Like, that's a special moment as a parent. It's like, oh, we're onto something.
So
right?
Proud, mate.
This is what you want your kids to be saying.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're the cunt in the scenario.
Yes, I am.
And you are going to have to stop smoking.
Yeah.
Which you're probably quite fond of because... Continue the story.
It just really makes you realise, I don't know when the transition period is with kids, when they go from being these dopey little creatures of instinct that are trying to eat batteries to this wise little like human being, this wise little woman who like, she had an answer for everything that I said. And even when like, I'm pretty good at controlling myself introspectively in real time. So I can feel when I have an urge or I want to say something or do something. I can feel that I'm emotional and that I probably won't feel this way in like 10, 20 minutes. So I'm not going to say it. I'm very good at controlling myself with outbursts. I've got a limit, as does everybody. If you push me enough, I probably will snap and be a cunt. But I am very, very good at just keeping myself calm. So I felt this little bit of fire in me where I felt almost like emasculated, belittled. She just fucked me up with words, mate. And she was 100% right. I had no argument to make whatsoever. And even the fact that little part of my ego still wanted to overrule and say, you don't tell me what to do. Like that's not what I'm teaching her. And even if I said that to her, then I know she would have called me out on that bullshit.
Yeah, she wouldn't have let it go.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say that's a great moment in your family and stuff. It's incredible. A great thing. It'll bring you closer together and all that good stuff. It's great. No one wants their parents to stink like fags.
No.
You know, I gave up smoking when, oh my goodness, before the younger two of my children were born, and but just around the same time as my oldest was being born and stuff, you know. So they'd never see me smoke, and therefore I get to just preach from on high, which is awesome. Might not be the best strategy though. Obviously, you can't just tell your kids don't do that. But I mean, it's not just your fault, man. Like I say, and it wasn't my fault when I was a smoker as well. It's not like the tobacco industry isn't one of the most sinister, disgusting, evil, destructive, and unacceptable industries on the face of the planet. It's not like that's not true, because it is. I mean, they add chemicals that aren't part of the tobacco plant to it specifically to get you, you know, addicted. They adjust. This came out when I was a bit younger. A lot of people didn't believe it, but it's like apparently they adjust the amount of nicotine that's in cigarettes over the course of a year, and they fluctuate it, because if they just gave you the same amount of nicotine in every single cigarette, right, you just get used to it and you tolerate it, and so they have all these tricks of, like, you know, making you addicted to something that's going to kill you. You're going to die of lung cancer.
Crazy.
Right? I watched
those
my nan.
old adverts are scary stuff, man.
Hell yeah, yeah. You know, I'm coming from an earlier time. The adverts were on television in the middle of Coronation Street. It's like, you know, hey, fancy some fags and that. It's like, I watched my nan die of lung cancer and stuff. I've seen this. There's a miserable way to go, man.
Sure.
Or throat cancer is another way that it will get you. That's one of the most miserable ways you can end your life. You know what I'm saying? Like getting bits of you cut out bit by bit until you just. It's like, it is utterly disgusting, and I think it's unacceptable as well. It's like people of your generation and stuff, the younger people are realizing now. I think smoking's more of it's a bit of a throwback almost these days, you know? Yeah,
like it's. I have liked that for a while. That it's not that it's socially unacceptable to smoke. It's just. It's not at all rewarded. It's kind of looked down on. Like some people might kind of socially smoke, but. It's more, every time I see people trying to start smoking, right? Because these people get to, like, I don't know, maybe they'll get to 18 or even younger, and then they just want to do adult things that adults can do, so they start trying to socially smoke so they can be in that. I always give them a hard time, right? And say, don't start smoking, mate.
I bet they love that.
Of course they don't, because it's preachy and it's boring, and what's this cunt know? He's only done it for 10 years. I understand that they're not going to listen. There's some information we can't pass on, right? But if you get in early enough, one of my favorite things about the kind of influence and stuff is people do listen to me. So when I say things like, don't start smoking, that's dumb as fuck. You don't look cool. Nothing is cool about it. When I was younger, I used to be able to get a pack of sweetie cigarettes, which were a pack of Camels, right? And they were chocolate, and they had the filter on them and stuff. And
who lets these things happen?
The cartoons, Johnny Bravo and that, he's there smoking smoking a cigarette still looked cool. The Ninja Turtles were walking down smoking a cigarette before they flick it away, and this sort of stuff. And going back to these crazy cigarette adverts they used to have in the past, I saw one. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw it recently within the last week, which was crazy, because obviously I went down the kind of rabbit hole a bit. And there was one where it said, I don't know the brand. Just say Marlboro for argument's sake. Marlboro is the mother's choice, right? So they were marketing at pregnant people. You have a skinny baby, right? So a thinner baby.
Oh my god!
And an easier birth because the baby is thin. And that was an advert, which is crazy. And then I found out in actual cigarettes, that's not tobacco. In like actual Marlboros and stuff. They munch all of this weird shit up, and they flatten it and dry it all out like paper, right? With all of these chemicals and this nonsense in it, and then they chop it up and that goes in it. It's not even tobacco.
And the reason that they're in there is to make them more addictive, to make them, to have a psychological effect that make you need them. You know,
weird, man.
Well, it is strange, but at the end of the day, the world's full of traps like that. The world's absolutely full of stuff like that. And at the end of the day, this is one of the reasons why I love what Ronaldo did the other day. Okay, you know, taking a stand and just saying, do you know what? I don't, you know, he's Ronaldo, you know, I don't have to stand here behind this bottle of Coke, right? I'll be all right if I don't do that, thanks. So he just moved it out of the way and stuff. And just for me, that's a huge moment, you know. My son, my eldest, and he's so into football, he adores Ronaldo, you know. It's just perfect because it opens up the conversation. It's like, and why do you think that is, son? You know, why do you think somebody that looks like Ronaldo at his age isn't going to be tipping like liquid sweets down his throat? You know what I mean?
He's not eating Big Macs, is he?
No, never. No, Ronaldo's my hero for a very few reasons, right? And it's nothing to do with football either. It's just that as a man, he the way he had his two younger children, he had them with a surrogate because he didn't want to have a relationship with a woman have the relationship break down in the future in some reason, and then because of the way that the court system, the family court system is set up, it's like, you know, your rights as a man,
it does lean towards women, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Heavily.
Okay. We're not going to go deeply political on this podcast. I'm going to assume that most of the people who are into it are going to be men, right? Okay.
Yeah.
God bless you, women, if you're watching as well. We love all of you, but like, I'm just saying that, like, we've both had experiences like with having a relationship with somebody you've had a child with break down.
Weaponized children, and
men do it too against women. Don't get me wrong,
sure.
right? But for Ronaldo, what he just went, do you know what? Just in case, let me take out an insurance policy. I have him with a surrogate. You give me the kids, right? We're done with you. Bye. And just he's got complete control over his children. Nobody will ever be able to take them away from him. And
Great thinking.
Yeah, I've never heard of somebody doing that before. I mean, there's downsides to everything. Like there's balance. Like obviously those kids haven't got a mum. Okay, that's not cool.
He's got a missus though, hasn't he? Now, like
exactly.
They've got like a mother figure.
Of course, he's Ronaldo. He's not going to be finding it hard to like find women, is he? You know. So
they got loads of other figures. Like.
Oh man, yeah. He's I just thought it was a very interesting take on this situation that so many of us men have found ourselves in, and women have found ourselves in, because mate. How many people have you met when you start telling them your story of woe about how you split with your kid's mum and all how much of a pain in the arse it was, all of that? It's like yeah,
so many people relate.
Exactly. If it hasn't happened to them, they immediately say, "Oh yeah, it happened to my brother or my cousin or my friend," and it happens a lot over the world. And it's never going to happen to Ronaldo, is it?
No.
So there's a lot of, so for that reason, he is my hero, but he's my son's hero because he plays football like a a god.
He is great, and he's a very altruistic person as well, right? So So I've had loads of stories where. He's paid people's medical bills, or like he's paid for this, or he's bought that, and he's gone back to a village he's from like Portugal or whatever, and he's kitted everyone out, and it just seems like a good guy. That's
a good reason to cheer up. You know, sometimes you feel like, God, the world's full of assholes. It's full of people trying to sell us things
and take something for you, trick you, and
exactly.
Not everyone's a cunt. There are some lovely people.
Yeah, it's true, and he's put himself in a position where he could be exactly the person he wants to be. So that's all good. So with our podcast, we are planning on having a few interviews down the road, aren't we?
Yes.
That's another thing that we'll be doing along the way.
Yeah, help us expand our minds. So basically, the goal of this for me is to try and find the beauty and the positive in kind of everyday life and the life lessons to be turned. And obviously we can speak about our past and reflect on our things. But it's also to continue to strive to be better people. And the way that you do that is by trying to have as much of an open mind as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some people in mind. We've got some people lined up that we're going to speak to. We've got a philosopher, a guy with a degree in philosophy I've got a lot of time for. I started speaking to him as, if you know me from YouTube and stuff, I started looking into Islam recently and trying to learn more about it. I had I'll speak about it more in a different episode, but I can't even explain it. A miracle or a mad coincidence or
an epiphany.
Yeah. So, like, just a weird combination of things which made me look into stuff, right? Like, there's a video about it on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out in more detail. So I started to look into Islam, and then like a little bit about it was my perception was so warped by the media, and I had this terrible image in my head of like a jihadis and explosions and all this horrible stuff. And then I've read the Quran now too, right? I've well, I say I read it. I've listened to the audiobook, but I'm halfway through on my second loop.
Better than most, bro.
And all of these like little horror snippets that, well, obviously I can't say all of them, but the ones I had in my head, you find out they're taken out of context. So then I spoke to this guy. I'm gonna say his name. It's called Yusuf. I spoke to him, and I had lots of questions. Narrow it down. I had lots of questions for him that could be deemed maybe ignorant or offensive if you're online. But he knew that obviously I am just
I'm sorry, but that just sounds so funny. Do you mind if I just ask you a load of ignorant and insulting questions?
Yeah.
And the guy said yes.
Yeah. So why are you such a cunt? So like, when he was telling me things like, well, you're speaking with a lot of conviction, mate. How do you know this? Right. Mm-hmm. And like that, it's challenging someone's belief. It's not disrespectful. I don't know. I want more info. I'm not debating him. I'm asking him questions and we're having a conversation. So I've had a couple of phone calls where I've had a quick call and it's ended up being 2 hours on the phone. Very well articulated. I've got an awful lot of time for him. He's down for coming on. So
I can't wait to meet him. That'll be awesome. Yeah, and we're going to be speaking to various people that have got stories about how they find the positivity in life.
Mm-hmm.
People who coach others. I don't mean like a life coach, but I mean they help other people find the positivity in their lives also. Just some people we think that you guys will like, hearing from, and that we want to hear from as well, as we explore, staying positive in a world full of madness and stuff, because it's always it's always outside the door waiting for us, isn't it? Like, it'd be pretty easy to make a podcast about how terrible everything is.
Right now it'd be easy.
Of course
easy.
It would.
Look outside. Like, well, no, actually, look outside and it's lovely. Put your phone down, look outside, that'll help you. Look on your phone, and that'll be the chaos.
Well, what you're saying about the media and the way they portray Islam is completely at odds with how it really is and stuff. And it's not a surprise, because the people, for some reason in this country, still seem to think of the media as like
trustworthy.
Like they were just reporting on events and stuff, and it's like that's just not the case. We need to let that go. We need to not think that anymore. Like if it's if you see something in the mainstream media, like there's billions of occurrences all over the world every single day, every hour of the day,
all the time.
That's right. They can't cover it all. They're not interested in doing that. Actually, what they really do is they project a perception of what's going on in the world for you to absorb. All right. So if you see it on the mainstream media, it's not there by chance. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, we're not going to try and get too political. Tom and I, we're not left, we're not right, we're not politically correct, we're not anything. We're just two geezers. Two normal geezers.
We like tits and lager.
Yes, in that order. Well, actually, because I don't drink and have extra tits. But like, if you're talking about something like Matt Hancock in let's go there.
Yeah.
And his snogging his Oxford bum chum from uni days secretary. Just such a bogus story in that, like he didn't know it was there, or like and all this. It's like that's not there because somebody's offended at the moral situation there. He shouldn't be doing that. Let's report it. That's
the terrifying power of Rupert Murdoch. It's
utter nonsense. It's like they don't report on the truth. They don't report on things that we'll find interesting or will help us.
It's clicks, mate. It's all clicks and traffic.
Of course it is. It's power as well at that level. They talk about the mainstream media now, like the BBC News and the mainstream newspapers. They've got huge amounts of power over people's perceptions, haven't they?
Yeah, hugely. And a perception is most of reality, right?
Perception, basically is reality, isn't it? I mean, it's like if it's not happening in your head, it's not happening, right?
I'd just like to point out quickly, you said a minute ago where you said like, we're not left and we're not right. Every time we're talking about anything, right, we're talking about it candidly. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're not trying to convince you to be on left team, A team. When we're talking to people from different religions, backgrounds, faiths, spiritualities, we're never having debates, we're having conversations.
Yeah.
Right? That's all we ever want to do, is to learn, expand, and sometimes you have to ask a bit of a probing question to get to that point. But the goal is expansion of the mind.
Yeah, you're not going to get any expansion of the mind going if you say, well, I'm actually on the left or I'm on the right.
Yeah.
If you want to be like that, that's fine too. I'm not judging. But like Tom and I, we're not like that.
No.
I don't believe in political correctness as a concept. I don't believe anybody's got a right to tell anyone whether their politics are correct or not. Like I don't give anybody the power to tell me whether my politics are correct or not according to them. It's like I refuse to give you that option. It's like I'll just decide for myself if that's all right, whether my politics are correct or not. And like I say, we got as many shows as we want to talk about these kind of topics and stuff. But I'm not on social media and stuff. And I come from a time when social media didn't exist, right? I was around in the 90s when we didn't have phones and social media, and I can live pretty good without it. I don't need it. And when you see some of the things that people seem to hold so dear, this left-right paradigm and all the rest of it, a lot of it just happens on social media. And if you put your phone down, it just disappears and goes away. Yeah, and that's the world that we're trying to address in this podcast. We're not the real world outside of your door, the people that are actually in your life, and the things you can actually do to help yourself and protect yourself, as we go through life. That's what we want to talk about. We're not here to just comment on the left and right in America, for example. I mean, I think that's been done to death for a start, isn't it?
And it's
boring as well.
Right? It is boring because even if it starts with good intentions, as soon as the ball gets a rolling on any of these things, that's what it becomes about, keeping the ball rolling. And like, this is a brand now. Okay, so like a good example is, do you know that the gun girl?
No.
Well, you're not on social media, you might not have heard of it. She's called Caitlin Bennett.
Okay.
And she goes to...
Oh, no, I do know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes and winds up lefty students. Yeah,
right. But like that's for entertainment. That's the same as throwing somebody out to the lions-esque prank show type stuff.
It's like wobbling a tooth with your tongue. It's just like,
and it's about pushing
pointless.
people into more of this weird false dichotomy that you have to be this or that. Well, why can't I be in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so in the middle. I'm fucking bi as well, right? like I'm all the way in the middle for everything.
Half rice, half chips.
Exactly. That's the best kind of meal, and it's just, I feel a lot of it is just rage bait. They want to get you angry because they know that you'll engage, and it keeps you on this thing, and it makes you miserable. If you scroll through any Twitter feed, it's just everyone complaining, myself included, about how shit Twitter is and how it destroys people's mental health. That algorithm is being and has been developed by psychologists to keep you in and keep you engaged, which is why they serve you up shit that'll piss you off, because they know you'll retweet it and you'll engage, and then someone will argue with you, and then you argue with them, and then like I've been caught up in it. I've been caught up in these weird little arguments with strangers. I'm a knobhead 93 on some random faceless. They don't even have a profile picture, and I'm arguing with them.
No, it's getting worse as well. It started a long time ago when social media started. Well, it's not even that long ago, but it started a while ago when social media was created, and it started to give, people just started to become keyboard warriors. You don't really hear that phrase keyboard warriors too much nowadays, because actually everybody's a bloody keyboard warrior, right? Everybody's firing fucking zingers at each other like it's no man's business. Everyone's worked out that you're not actually going to have face any real world repercussions for that.
Not enough people have been punched in the mouth.
Hell yeah, exactly. In the 90s you can't talk to people like that.
No.
Not growing up in Coventry, man. It's like you will get battered, and you deserve it, talking shit to people. Who do you think you are? Just lay your opinion and spread it out on somebody just for them to observe like that. Did that, and you're going up against like the world's most sophisticated team of technological experts when you're going up against Facebook, Twitter, like those people. If you're a computer engineer or a software engineer, let's say, God, I'm going to sound like an old fuck here using these terms, but if you're a software engineer and you're the top of your class and you go to uni and smash it completely, where's the best place you could possibly land? It's going to be working for like one of those big social media companies, isn't it? Or Google, perhaps, right? And it's like you've got roomfuls, like complexes full of minds that are just absolutely superb at this, right? And they're all working towards a goal of getting your attention, keeping you on social media, keeping you engaged with it. I'm not saying things that you don't know, but I'm just saying it is worth remembering this, okay? If it's upsetting you, if it's bringing you down, if you feel like you've had enough of it, just remember, like, you're just one man, and you're not actually putting an argument forward like they are. They're putting an argument forward like, use our platform, get involved, stay on it. You're just minding your own business. You're just like eating your cornflakes at the dinner table and scrolling through something to keep yourself entertained for a few moments. It's like, it's not what it appears to be. And you're right, everybody who uses social media goes into it with good intentions because they want to talk to their cousins and they don't see, and stay in touch with, and share videos of their new car they just bought and all this good stuff. But it doesn't end there. It's designed as a trap for you to fall into, and then next thing you know, I will say this though, I'm not totally discounting rage. Clear, like, if we'll see how this podcast goes. If we have to stoop, I'm not above it. I can think of some things that will annoy a few people.
It's kind of rage based. But
I can think of some good headlines that will piss people off.
I kind of feel like a lot of it just kind of snuck up on us, right? So it's gone from. Did you know that there's this thing that's like basically like TV you can get on your phone, and look at this, here's a guy putting his head up an elephant's arse at a zoo, and here's a funny cat video, and then all of a sudden you're caught up in this algorithm where you're the product, and you're like, hang on, what the fuck's happened here? You're selling my data, you're mining everything that I've got here. Why am I arguing with some cunt in Canada that I've never met about some policy I don't understand?
Did we sign up to this? Did anybody agree for this humongous change in society? Like, did anybody agree to that?
Just crept up on us, didn't it?
Yeah, they just decided it's going to happen. It's money. Just the wheels get greased.
Yeah.
The people who make these decisions, it ain't their problem. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not their problem.
It's their problem, like, all the way to the bank, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're an MP and you're passing regulations to let these things happen, if you're working at that top level, like, you're sorted. Like, you don't have to worry. Yeah. Like, you're getting paid a fat salary. You're getting a fat retirement when you're done. You're getting backhanders left, right, and centre. And you go back to our favourite old Matty Hancock. God bless him. Yeah. He's such a charmer, isn't he? I can't blame that woman though. To be fair, I mean, how'd she keep her hands off him?
I know, mate. Like, I really love that kind of dead behind the eyes kind of shill vibe he gives off.
Oh yeah, that's it. Like, it does it for me, mate.
He looks like he's died and he's been buried at the pet fucking cemetery and come back to life and a bit of makeup on him. Like it's just that.
If I
really
said
does
to
it for
you,
me.
if it's like you went to a really good artist and said, "Can you draw me a picture of Smug?" You know what I mean? With a tie on. Yeah, that's what you'd get.
This
Like,
is not a request.
fucking.
This is a demand.
We are allowed to swear, aren't we?
Yeah, we can
What a
swell. We
cunt.
fucking want. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he knows what he is.
That's nothing to do with policy, right? Like if you're conservative or you're left or
Oh God, no. Jesus
irrelevant.
Christ.
We're not talking about policy.
Disclaimers have been done. You guys
We're
know.
just talking about the fact that this cunt looks like a puppet. That's
Look, he got caught
just
snogging
think
his secretary, but he never paid for sorting his mate out with the contract for PPE worth millions, even though the guy's got no background in it at all.
yeah.
And telling the whole country, everybody that owns a pub, you got to shut at 10 o'clock, and then that same night getting busted in the House of
Yeah,
Commons
that was
bar
rude,
at
that
10:30. Yeah, and then when they told him you got to get out, he made a joke about everyone's misery. Like he didn't get busted for that, did he? We could go on, but we probably better not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But why was I talking about Matt Hancock again? You've lost me now. Once his little face pops into my head, mate, I'm just gone.
Yeah, weird little
I get
puppet.
taken off. It's like talk about triggering.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he certainly does trigger.
What I'm saying is basically these people. It's the people who have made these decisions on our behalf, right? They pretty much don't have to deal with the consequences of it. I'm saying, and it's a short term thing. Like they got to pay their mortgage, man.
Yeah.
They got to keep their wife happy. You know, that's what I was going to say about someone like Matt Hancock. And then you find out that they're on the board of directors at these companies that are receiving favourable contracts from the government and all this kind of good stuff. And it's their lives completely different to ours.
Yeah.
Completely different to the people that you and I are now, and the people that we were previously when we were suffering in our lives and struggling, like and depressed and trying to get a foothold in life, and you just smoking fags that are designed to kill you and drinking beer that ruins your life, but it's completely socially acceptable, and yeah, you're encouraged to do it all your
You
life.
can't have a joint though, that's minging.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
illegal, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get any tax out of that. And
we all know that law is directly in line with morality. It's where morality comes from, law.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
yeah, I mean, not that Matt Hancock has to worry about the law or anything, or people,
Yeah.
his creed. Yeah, they don't have to worry about the law. It's mostly for us. So what I'm saying though is like, there is work to be done if you want to pull yourself out of the misery and the abyss of like everyday life. Like it's not like
Mindfulness.
you have to apply to something like mindfulness, because if you just sit back and let life do what it wants, you know, it will get on top of you, and there's plenty of pitfalls and traps and reasons to, you know, to get down about life.
Yeah.
So maybe us having these conversations and cheering each other up and
Yeah.
helping each other through these waters will, you know, help everyone else too.
For sure. Like
That's the point.
it helps me massively. Okay, I think that is a good place to wrap up our first episode of Cheer the Duck Up. If you would like to follow us on any of our social medias at Cheer the Duck Up, you will be able to find a link tree on all of those that links to our YouTube, our podcast website, everywhere else. If you are if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or anything that allows you to rate, please do. It would help us massively. If you enjoyed it, reach out on social media and let us know. Let us know what you thought. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.